Going into the season, the Angels had high expectations, and I mean they better. When you have a team that consists of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, you sure as hell better be building something special around them. And over the last few years, the Angels front office has certainly tried, at least with the hitting side. They gave Anthony Rendon $245 million, but the biggest issues throughout the years have continued to be the pitching, starting pitching, and the bullpen. So this past offseason, the front office decided to spend some money on it. They started with the rotation, signing Noah Syndergaard to a one-year deal worth $21 million, and Michael Lorenzen to a one-year deal worth $6.5 million. As for the bullpen, they'd re-sign closer Raisel Iglesias to a 4-year deal worth $58 million, left-handed reliever Aaron Loup for 2 years and $17 million, Ryan Tapara for 2 years $14 million, and Archie Bradley for 1 year and $3.75 million. So add all of that with Shohei Ohtani in the rotation, and that's finally some decent and potentially good pitching to look forward to for Angels fans. And the team started out really well, 21-11 to be exact, as they were firing on all cylinders, and there were some guys like Ohtani and Rendon who weren't even getting it going yet. Mike Trout and Taylor Ward were mashing at the plate, the offense overall was doing very well, and so was the pitching. Pretty much the entire bullpen was solid, and the rotation, led by Ohtani and Cindergard, was getting the job done, with rookie Reed Detmers even throwing a no-hitter at one point. It was going strong, until it wasn't, and the Angels are now looking at a potential collapse. The Angels have lost a ton of games in a row, and overall have had a really poor last several weeks of baseball, and there's no hiding it. It's been ugly. As of late, the pitching has been awful. In the last month, the team ERA is over 4.5. In the last 2 weeks, it's over 6, and in the last week, it's over 8. Noah Syndergard is the guy who's really struggled lately. After a really solid first month of the season, he's pitched to an ERA over 5 in 23 innings. Other than that, the rotation has been pretty solid for the most part, but then you have the bullpen. The bullpen was really solid in April. Led by closer Raisel Iglesias, all the relievers had a really good month, but then May came around and everyone started to struggle. Oliver Ortega threw over 12 innings in April with a 1.46 ERA. As for May, a 4.66 ERA, and June isn't off to a swell start either, giving up 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks in 1 inning. Ryan Tapara is another guy who had a stellar April, only to give up a ton of runs in May. After a 1.69 April ERA, he put up a 7.20 ERA in May. Same with Aaron Loup, a .84 ERA in April and an ERA over 10 in the month of May, and then Raisel Iglesias, the man who's supposed to be the best, and he was in April, but just like everyone else, fell apart in May, pitching to an ERA over 7. The lineup has been bad too, but who in the lineup has been bad and exactly how bad? Let's dive a little deeper. In a little over the last couple weeks, the Angels are 24th in all of baseball in OPS, 19th in batting average, 23rd in on-base percentage, and 23rd in slugging percentage. At the end of May, Anthony Rendon was placed on the 10-day injured list, and he hasn't been very good this year regardless, hitting just .242 with a .738 OPS. Shortstop Andrew Velazquez has basically been an automatic out at the plate, hitting .189 with an OPS barely above 500. Brandon Marsh has been bad since May, and then there's Mike Trout, who's been struggling. Yes, you heard that right. Mike Trout is struggling, and it's bad. Trout is overall having a great year at the plate. What's new? But what is new is the fact that he's been really bad for a couple weeks in a row. In the last 2 weeks, Trout is hitting .192 with a .617 OPS, and in the last week, he's hitting 0. Literally 0. He's 0 for his last 26, which is the worst stretch of his career. Will he figure it out? Of course he will. He's Mike Trout, possibly the greatest player ever. He'll be fine. But will the Angels be fine? That's the real question here. The Angels took a lead in a game they really needed to win into the 8th inning, a 4-run lead, only to give up a grand slam to Bryce Harper to tie it. After retaking the lead in the 9th, the Phillies would walk it off on a Bryson Stott 2-out, 3-run homer. That's 7 runs in the final 2 innings given up by the Angels bullpen. It just keeps getting worse and worse. So let me ask again. Will the Angels be fine? They certainly can be, as they have a team that's capable of winning a lot of baseball games. Trout will be back, and the offense overall should be too, but the pitching is the biggest question mark here. The pitchers that the Angels already have shown that they can get it done. So many of them were so great in April, but it's yet to be seen if these guys can be good enough for an entire season. They don't have much depth either, so if the guys they have now don't figure it out sooner than later, the Angels might miss out on October yet again. Meanwhile, during all of this, the Houston Astros have been really good. The hitting hasn't been quite what it was for the last several years, but it's getting the job done, and so is the pitching. The rotation and bullpen have both been great in Houston, and as for their best hitter, Yordan Alvarez, well, he won't be going anywhere anytime soon, as he just signed a 6-year, $115 million extension. So the Angels have a lot going bad right now. And will it be fixed? Sure, at least some of it should be, but there's still a lot of uncertainty on this Angels roster that points to another disappointing season. Let me know if you think the Angels make the postseason this year, and thank you for watching.